Welcome everybody. I'm really excited to have Jamie Powter here from Rivercity Solution. How things are going today in Australia, Jamie?
Fantastic, mate. Really beautiful day here in Brisbane, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you today.
I'm really excited because actually this is our 13th of the series of these interviews. And when we had this chat and you opened my eyes about what are the 5 big obstacles that executives have, which gives them a lack of confidence on technology, and how the executive community on the small and medium enterprises actually give up on technology, get technology apathy. Like, yeah, we tried that. Yeah, we did that. Didn't work out. Not for us. And how these huge amount of opportunities out there, and we see executives totally breaking, and no investment, no, it doesn't work. And this whole digital transformation is a huge amount of opportunity. And you are talking us today, like, what are the major obstacles typically executives have and how to overcome that. So, like, how you get to the realization, Jamie, like, what was this aha moment for you when you realized that, like, holy smokes, something is wrong here?
Yeah, well, I think you've summed it up nicely, Dennis. We've been working with small businesses for a long time, and the execs that I work with are very heavily focused in decision making. When they started their business, they had a dream for something better, maybe some skill sets to build up their company, and a lot of these guys are still using those skill sets, so they're still working in the business as well. But fundamentally, what they're doing is making decisions every day. And one of the things that really get in the way is, what decision do I make? And what help do I need? And how am I going to get my money back? And who am I actually helping? There's a lot of reasons that technology adoption or digital transformation isn't as simple as it should be. And for a lot of executives that run small business, it can actually be quite a daunting prospect to delve into.
So it's interesting what you're saying, because you are talking about a return on investment or return on digital transformation, or something that we executives want to get something out. Like most tech people are like geeks and try new applications because they like it. But most executives don't have a new application for the sake of trying something out. They want to have business outcomes like better sales or better productivity or something. But it seems to me that they don't get these results after these shiny new projects. Why do you see it's really a problem?
Well, I think it's still got to do with decision making, and what we're in a situation with a lot of these execs is that they just don't have the time, and the time that they've given to these projects in the past hasn't been kind to them. The staff have been disenfranchised with IT projects in the past. 1 or 2 people may have been happy with the project, but the adoption rate might have been low. Things that are really common is that the problem that they thought they were solved never actually got solved. They may have got some benefits from some of the technology projects in place and the adoption of digital transformation, but no real permanent change that helped the major part of their business that drives the value. And what I hope that we do for our customers is we give them an opportunity to link their vision with the execution and a framework that allows them to be successful. And all the execs that I know, they're passionate about setting the conditions for success for their team and their business, and also most importantly their customers. And to do that, you know, in a modern world, in the global market of technology, you must be making astute, well-balanced, a good return on investment, IT decisions. And like everything else that we do in life that's really important, you are making a mistake if you're doing it by yourself.
Really interesting. So basically, you put together this little framework, and the first obstacle you witnessed was really interesting when I read that: lack of curiosity, the lack of like gave up on technology and shut it down. Like, what do you mean by that? It's really a kind of bold statement for executives, that lack of curiosity about technology. What do you mean by that?
Well, the curiosity part, a lot of it comes from, how do I understand there are better ways? And your vision of what is a better way is limited by your ability to make time to investigate what those ways are. And we've got competing priorities in every area of our business. Technology is definitely a focus for all the people I talk to, but the scope and time they give is limited to a bare essential requirement. What's my minimum requirement or minimal acceptable product that I can have to do this because I'm too busy and I don't have time doing it in other areas. So giving up is generally a consequence of failed IT projects in the past, or understanding that they're never going to make the time and commitment to actually dig into what is digital transformation. How can I help my business? It's all too much, it's all too difficult, and I'm just going to go focus on what the status quo is of what my business does, which is a real shame because the opportunities around supporting some of the business processes that our businesses have had at a legacy level, and most importantly, at an application level, the application lifecycle for our customers in terms of what actually drives our staff to be productive, what helps our customers get services in a way that they're delighted with. How can I be confident that the operational framework inside my own business is optimized, and what data do I have that gives me confidence that next quarter and the quarter after we are heading the right way? And technology is a huge part of that now. And that comes from having a little bit of courage, challenging the status quo, and for some people, and it can be really uncomfortable, we have to encourage our businesses to become a technology business in our own right. The people that will succeed in this space, in almost every industry, will be technology dependent, and it won't be because I need my application running. It'll be because I need to outcompete the people that are looking that area the hardest.
Jimmy, when I read your manifesto, that was something really profound there, talking about that in the past, companies and owners were focusing on the technology as a cost, expense, infrastructure need to be implemented because that was the business. But in the future and the present, it's not about that. It's not about compulsory things. It's about opportunities. So the choices are so much more and so much wide now than it was in the past. How do you think it changed the decision-making process, or any like IT service provider relationship, or who helps an executive to make decisions? How this whole landscape changed?
Yeah, that's and I think we're actually hitting on the start of the problem. Everything starts with what is the decision we're going to make, why am I going to make that decision, and who's giving me the information that allows me to make a good decision. What I'd be encouraging people to do is asking, what information aren't I getting? And that's not because people aren't trying to help you. Your IT team, your MSP, they're good people. They want your infrastructure to be healthy. They want to make sure your capacity and performance, and they're critical things to your business operations. But what they're not passionate about, and it's not their fault, is understanding what your business vision is. And your business vision today is likely going to change once you understand what technology can do for your future. So, relying on the internal IT team to come up with you with a recommendation, that can be helpful. And it is around notebooks and networks and infrastructure style dependencies. And your questions of how much, how long will it take, what problem are we solving? They're all valid questions, but the question you never get an opportunity to ask is say, how does this help me create a better future for my company? And this is where I see the type of help that's available isn't getting into that mind space. You need a different level of technology leadership that encourages thinking inside your own team, to challenge you, to ask if there are better ways, what do they look like? And those better ways always relate to, we have an ongoing problem that we haven't been able to solve. We're living with it because it's in the too hard bin, and you might be surprised what technology can do to shorten cycle times, increase employee productivity. And in 2020, what you want to make sure is that your staff are actually comfortable and happy and delighted with the IT that you're being supplied with.
Jamie, that's really good, because it's leading to the second obstacle. You put it in this manifesto, that one of the biggest obstacle is that the lack of articulated vision from the executives. And what was profound when I read that is that it's not the lack of vision. But it's not the lack of vision of executives. They don't know where to go. They couldn't articulate it well enough that technology people understand and make it actionable. So can you just go into that? Because I think that's really just somehow, I feel that it's connecting this business type of people mindset and the technology mindset and put something between. So how you get to this conclusion?
The vision of a business determines the purpose, determines the culture, determines the business plan, determines the budget, and IT is no different to that. You need to have an IT vision statement that represents the direction of the IT decision making. Most days, you need to make immediate IT decisions around something. It could be a security change, it could be a commission, or it actually might be an investment, a significant investment. And in all those decisions, you wanted to have one eye on the microscope and one eye on the telescope. And if you're always looking down at the problem, you will solve it. And probably life will go on, but you are settling for the status quo in most situations. The opportunities exist in the future, and the way to get there quicker and the least amount of pain is going to be with adoption of technology. So, you know, some things are going to be same, but the big decisions that you need to make, you've got to look for better ways. And that better ways is determined by having, what do we think our business needs from technology? Once you have that decision-making framework and a flag in the sand that says, no, this is who we're trying to be, it really reduces the cycle time to decision-making, and you actually start gradually walking through doors to get you there a lot faster with much better information than you would have had before.
And Jamie, like if you talk about like a vision and articulating the vision, why do you think, or why you get this conclusion that articulating a digital transformation vision shouldn't be done with your IT service provider or your CIO or your IT manager? Why do you think this business vision shouldn't be discussed or influenced by these people who are executing those strategies? Because it's kind of counterproductive for me, like why we are not actually having those conversations with those people to actually create the vision or articulate the vision. Why do you think that?
It's really important not to do that. I don't think you can ignore those influences at all, but doing it at the start gives you a lot more freedom to come and get the best of the people that are trying to support you. You want to create your own vision that's linked directly to what your business is trying to achieve. And you can't do that from the inside of your company out, because we have so many influencing factors about immediacy and urgency and ongoing problems. None of those stories represent what the future opportunities are or current opportunities are. You need people to come into your business and say, okay, let's already agree you've got problems inside your business because you're a business and that's the way it is. But let's also agree we're going to put that to the side and we're going to talk specifically about what you're trying to achieve. And when that starts to become clearer and you're not actually influenced by the noise of the day, it's like when you do a retreat for your executive team or you go away for a week, you're in a situation where you are removed from influences that are focused on solving today's problem. You've got to start solving what the future looks like for your team. And having a vision for that can actually also inspire people. People can encourage the people around you to say, great, well, that's what we're trying to do. Well, we definitely shouldn't do this thing here because it's not going to make a difference there. It'll solve our one problem we're trying to solve, but it's going to also impact our ability to do this future opportunity. And in a lot of instances, we'll have to undo this work that we just decided to do in order to get to the next step anyway.
Jamie, it's really interesting because when I see the next obstacle after articulating this vision from the business perspective with a white page without any influence of today and new shiny applications and opportunities, when the executive have the vision with the executive team where they want to go, the next thing is to actually create an executable plan which is actually precisely leverage those people who you mentioned not to have on the vision exercise. So how you can balance out these creating a vision a business vision and turn this into like actionable pieces when you actually can go through with your team, your IT service provider, your managed services, your infrastructure, your security, your whole sets of people around you helping you on this technology journey. What do you think is the best practice to actually have a plan which is aligned with everybody and executable?
Well, the great news is that if you've done a really concise, clear vision statement for what technology does for your business, the role it plays, and how it will help your business and what the business looks like as a consequence of that help, the roadmap and the planning is actually a lot easier than it ever has been. An IT strategy in the past has been an infrastructure roadmap based on a list of problems to solve. And realistically, it's a health list, it's a checklist. It's things that we must do because we must do them. A vision says, well, hang on, we're going to remove ourselves from that and create the freedom because we've had the discipline to put in place a vision. And from there, you can actually work really hard with the appropriate people that says, what part of security do we need to challenge? Or what modern security trends are best going to help us do this? Application is the focus area here. And I think that what infrastructure do we need? Is cloud an option? What's our total cost of ownership? All these type of things need to come into play. And you can't do any of those things until you start working through what that plan is. A plan isn't necessarily the budget. A plan is saying, what are the possibilities? What are our focus items? It's almost a list of dilemmas that you're going to prioritize because you've already quantified that the problems are worth solving. And once you're in that stage, then you can start doing estimates around, well, what scope are we going to put into those problems? So identifying the problems we're going to solve. What areas of technology are going to help us do that? What people inside the business do we need as subject matter experts that aren't necessarily technology minded, but are process orientated, or they own that function or accountability inside the business, and bring them into IT. They shouldn't be alienated from technology decision making, particularly when we're trying to move technology further up the food chain from just infrastructure, application security. We're moving into productivity, we're moving into collaboration, and all those areas require a high level of engagement and stakeholder support.
Jamie, that was a really bold statement on this manifesto call that the current IT strategy is a lie. What did you mean by that? Because I think it was kind of ballsy too, that you are an IT service provider background and you are saying that IT strategies are a lie. Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, when a service provider comes into your business and they say, here's our IT strategy, basically, in most instances, they're giving you a list of their capabilities and how they line up to the functions of your business, which can be a good match. But the actual statements only represent what we can achieve today. So you need to look beyond that. You need to look outside of a list of capabilities for an internal support team or an MSP or any type of IT service provider. And the difference with digital transformation is that you open the horizon to a whole gamut of expertise, and you remove the dependency on your IT service provider, but you start having a function, a change agent or a digital transformation specialist that says, yes, IT support is a huge part of what we need to do, and it needs to make IT successful, and it's part of setting the conditions for success, but it's not the only factor at play. And you need to put yourself in a position where an IT strategy plan is actually segmented. We have our infrastructure plan, which is important because you need to make sure the lights stay on. You need to have your data security, you need to have your information management, but you also need to start looking at your productivity opportunities. You also need to start looking at what type of services do we need to introduce to our business that we've never ever had before or never thought of before, and what are our competitors doing? And you know that things like Airbnb and other products that come to market very quickly and get rapid success, none of those businesses are selling technology, right? They're all selling, they're all building a business and designing a business, and technology just happens to be the supporting mechanism. Similar to like FedEx is not really a courier company; they're an airline. And McDonald's makes toys; they don't really sell food. All those things are part of the story. And a lot of businesses today are going to be like, we're a great technology company. We just happen to deliver these services as a consequence of that.
It's interesting, and like that's leading to the next obstacle, the fourth obstacle, which is basically what you are saying, the shortcutting the alignment and the buy-in process when those plans turn into projects. So it's really interesting that basically what's behind that is that you have a plan, and then somehow connecting the dots between the day-to-day, like the microscope and the telescope, is what's the major problem you see people are making to not being able to have those plans executed properly, or where the things falling apart?
Again, this ties into the whole linear approach of saying we've built a vision, we've got some stakeholder engagement, we've got some thoughts together on what our plan needs to look like with some indicative budgeting. And now we're in a situation now where we're going to put together an executable plan. And we don't do everything at once. We just literally prioritize what we need to do. But the process for execution of a plan starts falling into the category of IT project delivery. Now, IT project delivery is a little bit different in a modern world than it has been historically, particularly when there are many stakeholders and people affected. And taking in consideration of what level of commitment do we need from the business, what is the best solution that we're going to bring in to solve this problem, and being in a competent mindset that allows you to articulate what you're not going to solve, allows you to set up a project where you can set up those success factors very early on. And once you can do that by running a collaboration exercise with the stakeholders, you get to prioritize, leave out what you're not going to do, determine what you are going to focus on, determine what you are going to be relentless in the problem that will be solved. Then you start actually getting to the bottom of what is my ROI going to be. And only then do you go, yes, we are definitely going to do this. So, and quite often that's a cycle. We'll say, yes, we really want to solve this problem, but this approach we've just investigated isn't the right way. And that is a really good outcome, because the worst outcome is making that decision, trying to implement it, and then working out you just wasted all your time and money. So this skipping the step about saying, how is this project going to be successful? Who's going to be the person that's going to be accountable for it? How do we make sure we've got the right people engaged so that they can contribute to the success of the project, and understanding the investment made, the benefit back to the business, and a level of IT happiness that comes from the successful implementation. And it's a self-fulfilling process. Once you have that executable plan in place, or and the project execution framework, then you're actually in a process where you can rinse and repeat and improve, rinse, repeat and improve. And all of a sudden you start getting a lot of momentum about building the technology changes in the business that you need to.
It's interesting because, like, actually, that's what I feel is the reality is that obstacle one, executives are not brave enough. They are just kind of like, let's do these type of things. They don't articulate their business vision, usually. Second obstacle. Third obstacle is like there is no real plan or priorities around that. So they are starting these things ad hoc. And the fourth one, what you were saying, is more about, I feel that it's more solution-based projects. Hey guys, we need this CRM. Let's implement this CRM. And everything falls apart during this process, because basically what you are advocating on these 4 steps, that eliminating the noise, get clear focus, and the decision making is way easier, and the alignment can be happening because there is a governance on top of that, like where the business go, what is our vision, what is our priority, and then how this very project fits into the scheme, and everybody kind of way better understanding why actually it's important, why I should pay attention, why I should invest time to evaluate a vendor, a software solution, go to training, adopt the software. And it really goes back to the last obstacle you are saying, is that, okay, now we have these projects done, or let's say we are setting up these projects for success, but still one obstacle there to go through the hurdle, the last hurdle is to what is the operating framework? So it's not just like a one-off thing. You go to the retreat, go to the strategy, do the plan, start the projects, and bang. What is this relentless, what you said, like weekly, monthly, quarterly sessions and framework to actually push through all these decisions, all the problems, all the issues, all the misalignment, to actually like brute force this whole process to actually execute everything what we need. So it really seems to be overwhelming, but as you state that, it wasn't really that overwhelming. Like, what those components you think needs to be in place to actually make sure that everything goes to the very end of execution?
It's a good point, Dennis. We know that every business that we work with and identify or are lucky enough to see what areas we're successful with and observe the success that our customers are having is the areas that they apply discipline to. It's as simple as that. What areas of the business have the highest level of discipline and governance are the best, most efficient and successful areas of the business. Usually it's sales. Sometimes it can be production if it's in manufacturing or construction, but it's where that discipline is. And applying that same mindset to technology doesn't come by not giving it the time to do it. Yeah. So you've got to start by saying, well, how much time do I need to do it? How much time do I need to supply to this so that I can have the same level of governance and discipline around our technology management? The discipline rhythms involved around ensuring your digital transformation strategy remains on track and effective is not as heavy as you might think. And the accountabilities start with working to the plan, understanding that the vision is valid and checking that and testing that as the process continues. And just having a rhythm that says, look, every month we're going to check in on our projects. Every month we're going to double check that our assumptions are validated. Every month we're going to make sure that our budgets are okay. Every quarter we're going to reassess our plan. What's changed inside the business? We were saying 3 months ago that this was a valid initiative. However, something might have changed. Do we persist or do we put something else in its place? Every 6 months, the process continues, still looking at external changes as well, what's changing outside our business, what some of the new technology landscape changes. The plan is good on day one, but it needs to be challenged and needs to be sorted throughout the life of the plan. And we say annual, but really what it is, the plan's done annually and it's tested quarterly. And that by the end of the year, we quite often find around a quarter of the plan has been swapped out or changed or amended significantly because we're responding to the change inside our own business or responding to the change outside of our business. The wrap up of that process is we get a chance to actually measure and monitor the impact of change.
Yes.
So because we've already articulated this is what the change must bring financially, this is what the change is going to cost us, and this is the time frame allocated that we're putting these changes in place in our business, you can actually measure quantifiably the bottom line impact. And there are some metrics that we use in digital transformation that says, are we competitive? Are we in a state of maturity around our digital transformation? Or are we operating a little bit like Blockbuster? You know, are we just doing what we need to do to be okay? And that metric can be measured as well. So the digital maturity assessment that we do during the digital transformation and visualization and planning phases allows us to have metrics that we can say what has improved, what's our new priorities, what do we need to look like this time next year. And this is the type of information that execs not only can use inside their team to say, hey, we're being successful and we're doing the right things. It's a type of information you can take to other shareholders, other people inside the business to demonstrate the success that you're having with the technology inside your business to achieve the vision that you set out to do. And that all sounds really simple, and it actually is, but getting the right people to help you, making the time to do it, and getting a commitment from your team to sponsor this type of event is where the effort needs to go. But once it's all stood up and running, the rest of that work is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it comes from the discipline that you apply to it. And it's unfair to ask people inside your business to do that discipline. And that's why people like us exist, because we can bring that framework and discipline to your business.
That's my question here, that you define something really profound here called VP of Digital Transformation, which is a role inside an organization, which is basically a virtual role within the organization, which is coming from like a digital transformation advisor, which is actually helping on obstacle one, coaching and helping the executive to get confidence, then help to articulate the vision, help them to create a roadmap with the team, help the team to actually set every project for success and help the team to execute that. So it's really a disruptive idea, because most of the people see that it's a multidisciplinary thing, what might be the role of the CEO, because it's so complex, but somehow you were able to cut it down to different activities, which is actually can be fulfilled from a role. Like what this VP of digital transformation is actually doing day by day, let's say.
Look, day by day, it's a barometer. It's a barometer task. It's a barometer role inside your business that ensures the plan and the execution and the changes that are happening around it are good, healthy, and okay. It's a large part of the governance. The other function that it serves is to make sure that the staff are okay. A large part of technology change is actually the impact on people inside the business. As your highest human cost, there's a responsibility to make sure the changes that you make leave your team better off. And you need someone to own that responsibility, because the challenges that come up with change can't really simply be disregarded. This digital transformation role needs to be a connection to the sentiment around technology, and where there is something that isn't quite right and needs to be addressed very, very quickly, or it needs to be said, I understand your concern, we're going to move it to the side. One thing it can't do is be dismissed. So managing the change, the impact on people inside the business and the culture, and then continue to be relentless in pushing those initiatives forward is the function that people need inside that business. The interesting thing about this is that the people that carry out these services, like myself and my company, we don't really have all the answers. We don't know all the technologies. And if you pretend to, or you think you do, you're really shortchanging your customers. What you need to be an expert in is having a framework where you can get to the heart of the matter, where you can focus on the right items, articulate your vision, come up with a plan that aligns to that vision, engage your staff so that they're going to commit to the problems and make sure they are the right problems to solve. Make sure you're harnessing the right opportunities that are available to best influence those problems and create the most from those problems into new opportunities. And then have a way that you can keep it good, maintain the momentum, and continue to bring that value into your business.
Awesome, Jamie. We are getting to the end, and I would like to just ask you that if you are able to kind of wrap this whole thing up, because like it's really for me it's really an interesting concept is that executives like get sick and tired of technology and the failures and why this is affecting their business and actually what to do about it. So if you would have like a minute to, to send to the world, what's the essence of this message, what would you say?
The essence of the message is don't give up hope. And technology hasn't always been easy, hasn't always been a friend. It's been a large cost in a lot of areas for businesses, and sometimes seeing it as a painful cost. Whatever challenges that execs have had around implementing technology, there's been so many changes in that space now that there are better ways. The opportunities far outweigh the pain. and you should be getting people in to bring passion and enthusiasm to making those changes. Because whatever pain you felt in the past, the pain really just needs to be, can I articulate my vision for my company? And do I understand how technology can best make that come true? It's not going to do all the heavy lifting for you, but if you understand what roles technology can play, then you're going to be in a situation where not only will you be happy that technology is supporting your business more than ever before, it'll actually give you the freedom that you need to not have to be managing and looking at everything inside the company. Most of the benefits that are coming from digital transformation is around data availability, swift decision-making, accurate decision-making. And whenever execs get that level of value from tech, they know they're actually getting much better off and much better outcomes for their investments.
Jamie, thank you very much. That was like I'm speechless here because it's you made it so easy to understand these fairly complex like management items, and what I can encourage everybody is like we have Digital Maturity Group is proud to have like you, Jamie, as an advisor on board, and you guys figure out how to benchmark, how to create like an assessment of current state of digital maturity, how to create a vision, how to put this into place. And that is a benchmark everybody can take, which gives everybody, every small and medium organization a comparison, like where they are good and like where they lack on the vision part, or what type of team collaboration is missing and things like that. So I really encourage everybody to sign up for those opportunities with these really awesome advisors. And Jamie, thanks for your wisdom today. Anything for a closing thoughts, because I think it's really like these thoughts are like might be common sense, but really not common practice. So it's anything to share?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, Dennis, and as always, it's great to talk to you. I think what the Digital Maturity Group is standing for and the value that it's bringing to small, medium business is substantial. And for me and the customers that I help, the framework, starting the framework is very, very enlightening. The people involved, not being technology focused, and speaking to those business issues and talking more about the technology and how that can help them. We really see a lot of lights go on and a lot of people reawakening some of the possibilities that they may have put to bed. And that's the heart of this chat with you, is about saying, yes, we've tried that. We're not going to try it again, because no one likes the failure. No one likes being disenfranchised. But I guess the message is there's actually a better way, and there is a way that you can get this understanding into your business without the disappointment. It actually comes with a high level of confidence and success.
Jamie, thank you very much for your wisdom today, and really grateful for your thoughts. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.